John Cena's heel turn gives us two things: the psychology and the anatomy of a villain, and it proves that wrestling is just the other side of comic books. Usually when I'm talking about comic books, I do a bunch of wrestling references. I'm so excited to flip it now. Before we get into John Cena's heel turn, we gotta look at John Cena from before. This man been at it since 1999. That's over like, what, 26 years in the wrestling game? The last time he was a heel was back in 2002. Since 2003, this dude has been a face for over 20 years. And he been putting the company on his back for more than 10 of those years. Hate him or love him, this man did what's best for business. WWE was out of the Attitude Era, and they went into the Ruthless Aggression Era. Then they became more PG. And John Cena led that charge by being the nice guy. A company man without being a company man, as opposed to CM Punk, who was just the rebel. And what's dope about the rivalry between John Cena and CM Punk, these two polar opposites, they both still respected each other. Even when that line between real and scripted blurred and CM Punk left the company, John Cena never badmouthed that man. And nor did CM Punk say a bad thing about Cena. Now there's good and bad that can come with Cena being a face, right? The Super Cena thing. Folks always saying backstage that he buried people. There's wrong and rights that come with it. But for the most part, he has put a bunch of people over. As he grew into his role, Cena was always able to adjust with what the people wanted. Even when they were chanting he sucks, he took that in stride. Because people will hate you when you're there, but they'll miss you when you're gone. What I like about John Cena is this dude doesn't take himself too seriously. This man is a charming, comedic genius. And now John Cena is entering the, as William Regal put it, twilight of his career. We start to then see the change in John Cena. Before, he was fine with letting Ric Flair's record of 16 championship wins stand, but he has the chance to break that record, to go for 17. Cena then believes that that's what's best for business. So now he's gonna go and shoot his shot for the Royal Rumble. But he's not victorious because Jey Uso becomes the Royal Rumble winner. Now to me, long-term booking in wrestling is the exact same thing as long-term storytelling in comic books. This man held down WWE for over a decade. He holds the record for the most Make-A-Wish Foundation appearances. This man plays the babyface or the hero well, but time has caught up with John Cena. Your time is up, your time is now. The last time is now for John Cena. And while there was a time he was called Super Cena because, he always won, always came back from behind, that hasn't been the case anymore for a while. Cena's come back and he's put people over, as he should, because his time is dwindling down. And so Elimination Chamber is his final chance in order to make it to WrestleMania. And the irony is, it's CM Punk's chance in order to become the headline for WrestleMania as well. And his time isn't dwindling as much as John Cena's, but it is winding down too. And these guys who've been rivals for over years meet again in the squared circle. Now let's keep in mind, CM Punk left back in 2014? Nearly 10 years he was away from wrestling in the WWE. And it was gonna be a cold day in hell before he returned back to WWE. But things change. And there's a beautiful moment between these two where they see each other all these years later and meet once again finally back in the WWE ring. And John Cena says to CM Punk, "I missed you." And CM Punk says, "Yeah, I missed you too." And both of them want WrestleMania, and they're in each other's way. And after they stomp out Seth Rollins for a little bit, they get back to business because now it's just these two. Just like all those years ago, these two men with two different ideologies meet again. And there's a beautiful moment where John Cena, the company man, the good guy, puts out his hand to shake CM Punk's hand. And CM Punk, the rebel, says, nah, he doesn't shake his hand. He goes in and he hugs John Cena. The beautiful thing about what wrestling has become now and its progression is you don't really get to see moments like that back then, but you see them more now, especially when there's so much history between two people. It reminds me of a story The Rock told about Stone Cold Steve Austin in their WrestleMania match, and The Rock's like, "Oh man, Steve, we're here, man. Look at it. We're about to make magic together. This is going to be amazing. We're going to be so great together." And Austin just looks at him and goes, "Shut up!" and just starts punching him in the face, and they start going at it. Obviously, he was a character, but here it's dope to see more and more moments of this. And remember, Cena's time is winding down, so when he's battling with CM Punk, and then CM Punk escapes a move, and he's hanging between the ropes, we see Seth Rollins come over and give him the stomp. Knocks him out cold. John Cena sees this, and the Cena of old would have gone at Seth Rollins. He wouldn't have taken the victory that way. But this ain't the Cena of old. Again, time is working against John Cena. He lost the Royal Rumble. This is his last chance. Now, AA Arn Anderson, the enforcer of the Four Horsemen, always says, adversity introduces a man to himself. I think desperation can show you who you really are, or who you have the chance to become. As we see John Cena immediately go, grab CM Punk, drag him to the middle of the ring, and lock in the STF. But he locks that shit in deep. He's never done it this brutally before. And as he's doing it, he apologizes to CM Punk, shouting out, "Sorry." Because doing this is uncharacteristic of John Cena. If anything, it's more aligned with Edge, another of his old rivals, who once told him when he was getting rocked by Brock Lesnar, hey, you gotta turn that shit on. So now we see desperation making John Cena an opportunist, and CM Punk's chances at WrestleMania, headlining WrestleMania, slipping through his fingers. And all the while, Seth Rollins is on the outside shouting, die, die to CM Punk, hoping he doesn't pass us out, hoping he dies, which is wild work. But John Cena wins. Maybe not the way he wanted to, but he still took that opportunity. And then when Cody Rhodes is out in the ring along with The Rock and Travis Scott for some reason, we see Cody Rhodes telling The Rock, yo, go fuck yourself. I ain't gonna sell my soul to you, because The Rock wanted his soul, wanted him to be his man, his company man. Cody says no, and we see John Cena back like, yeah, his old animated self. And he goes in and he hugs Cody, but he's looking at The Rock behind Cody, and The Rock tells him, hey, you know what you gotta do. And that's where we see the demeanor of John Cena change. Now, Elimination Chamber took place on March 1st, 2025, but the look on this man's face says Mission Report, December 16th, 1991. And we then see John Cena kick Cody between the legs for that full heel turn. Again, desperation shows you who you really are or who you have the capacity to become. For over 20 years, this man has been a hero, and now he's turned villain. It's similar to when Hal Jordan snapped after the bombing of Coast City, took out all the Green Lanterns, and then took all the power of the Green Lantern power battery for himself, becoming the villain Parallax. But Cena's heel turn is a lot simpler than that, because you have this finite amount of time left. You could do things the right way, but there's no guarantee that way will work out for you. But if you have the machine behind you, such as The Rock, the final boss, The Rock, your chances are a lot better. And now it will be interesting to see who John Cena is as a villain, where he doesn't have to do all those Make-A-Wish appearances, where he's not that idol for kids. This heel turn is so monumental because it's 20 years in the making. We don't even know if we were going to see this. This right here is when Dr. Octopus was inside Peter Parker's body and became Spider-Man, the superior Spider-Man. And it's going to be interesting to see who John Cena becomes now. I don't think we're going to see those bright colors on him anymore. And I'm hoping he fully embraces the heel turn and just goes bald. If we see John Cena rocking a baldy, oh! Now, interesting enough, Cody Rhodes is the other element here, because every reaction has an equal and opposite reaction, right? As John Cena's time is dwindling down, Cody's time is now. He's in his prime. Cody Rhodes, who was not seen as a top guy and left on a whole journeyman journey, then came back, won the title his daddy never won, finished the story, and is now writing a new chapter. And that chapter is going to be a baton pass from John Cena to him, because now Cody Rhodes is that new company man. He's the face of all faces, just like John Cena was. And that's beautiful storytelling, because John Cena could have just gone out a face and just rode off into the sunset. This heel turn makes this way more memorable. And it's funny because Cena went bad for his final run as opposed to Bryan Danielson, who went good. But a beautiful thing about this heel turn for Cena is that it sets up Cody Rhodes for the future. It's funny because Cody Rhodes can play a great heel too, and a lot of people want him to be heel as well. So now that John Cena, who was seen as Superman, has now turned into the Injustice Superman, what will Cody Rhodes do? Because not only does he have to deal with John Cena, but he also has to deal with the final boss, Rock. Either way you say it, the gas bill is paid, the stove is on, and they about to cook. There's a line from Cars 3, the greatest movie Pixar ever made, that sums this up entirely and perfectly. Lightning McQueen is being forced into retirement unless he can win this last race. Smokey tells Lightning McQueen, you'll never be the racer you once were. You can't turn back the clock, kid. But you can wind it up again. For John Cena, this heel turn isn't turning back the clock. It's winding it up again. The man that was running out of time just bought himself a little bit more.